Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday evening happy hour with Back to Basics Dog Training. For those that don't know me, I'm Leon, the head trainer here over at Back to Basics Dog Training, and welcome. I'm glad we're starting to get this platform up and working the right way. So that's half the battle. So welcome. Guys, if you're watching, if you're the first time, if you're watching this on the replay later on YouTube or on, I believe this is going out to Twitter or onto my Facebook page, let me know you were here. Shoot me a comment. Let me know where you're watching from, where you're viewing this from. And of course, you can always ask your questions either here live or on the replay, and I will get to it as soon as I can. So with that being said, let's just get right into the subjects that we talk about all the time, and this is going to be the main one that I'm going to be talking about tonight, how energy is the most important thing in what we do in the dog training world. There are a lot of different methodologies out there, guys, and I know there's a lot of different methodologies as far as the training process goes. Excuse me. So with that being said, we can talk about it. We can talk about the positive reward trainers, the veterinarian behaviors, the force-free training, the discipline or alpha method of training. But really, in all my years of doing this, there's a common denominator. What I'm finding works on 99.9% of the dogs that I work with is the energy that I use to get the correction and get the behaviors that I want the dog to have or not to have. So what do I mean by that? Dogs don't need to hear us speaking. I've said this before and I'll say it again. They don't need to hear us speaking necessarily to understand what we're asking them to do. If we're happy with them, if we're not happy with them, we need them to do a better behavior. The words that are sounds to the dogs, it's repetition of saying the word sit a million times to the dog put two and two together. That sound sit means I got to put my butt on the ground and sit. But again, the words are the most important thing. It's the energy used behind what we're going to do, especially when we're talking about corrections. And again, anybody watching, give me a shout out and a comment. Let me know you're watching. Let me know what platform you're watching this on also, because I'm doing this on multiple platforms. It seems like this is the first week I'm having some real good success with it, where it seems like it's streaming fine. So let me know if the quality is good and how the sound is, lighting, and all of that other garbage. So give me a shout out in the comments. Let me know you're here. Don't forget, if you like what you're seeing, smash the like button and all that good stuff too. It'd be much appreciated. And I want to make sure the comments are coming over properly. So let me know again that you're here. Let me know you're watching. Let me know what platform you're watching me on, and we'll keep going. Talk about the as far as our. So with the communication, what I'm saying is, if you're calm, your dog will be calm. I know this. I've proven it. I've done it. I have videos on it that one of these days I'll get posted up here on the YouTube channel. But the dogs respond to me because of my energy. And that's the thing I try to get to all my customers that I talk privately, one-on-one, on private sessions, or via the social media platform that we use every Wednesday evening here on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, and on Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock on the Facebook platform. I talk about the energy, And what it is if I see a dog having an unwanted behavior, my energy is disapproval. I'm not happy. You're doing something I don't like. So my energy changes. That's just natural. Uh, so good evening, Michelle and Athena. And Rob. Sorry, I always leave Rob out of it when I say good evening or good morning, depending on which platform you're watching. How's things going with our little girl, Athena? Um, and I'm assuming you're watching this on Facebook because in the little icon next to your name, it says that you're, it has a Facebook logo. So I'm going to assume that means it's on Facebook. Let me know. And let me know how the sound is and how the quality of the video is. Again, this is a new platform for me, guys. So I'm trying this, and I'm hoping this is successful. I know anybody who tuned in, hopefully didn't have the conversation with the groomer. She had car troubles this week, so she wasn't able to get back down here to Long Island in time to do this. So we're shooting for next week to have that interview with the groomer that I keep promising. Um, so we'll get that out there. But the energy is more important, and I'm going to use Athena right now because you're watching, you're here, you let me know you're here. Michelle is doing a phenomenal job with the continued progress of Athena from everything I've read on, that she's told me on my Facebook lives and on my YouTube lives. Um, but Rob gets a better result sometimes with just the verbal commands. And why? Because Rob's energy is not that overly worried. It's that no nonsense approach I talk about here, guys, all the time, which is that trademark saying I have that no anger, no frustration, no nonsense. It's really, really important. You cannot correct your dog if you're angry or you're frustrated or in mortified or whatever. Why is my dog doing this to me? I'm the one who feeds the blah, 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 blah. That is a horrible energy. The dogs are never going to respond to that. What they're going to respond to is your no anger, no frustration, but that no nonsense approach. The no nonsense approach is the energy. No. Why am I saying no to this behavior? Because I said so. I don't need to explain to the dog why we're saying no, um, why we're doing anything. I just need to say this is an unwanted behavior. And Rob is on YouTube. Facebook is delayed, but sound is better. Okay, on Facebook. That's weird. We'll have to look into that. I'll have to watch the replay, I guess, eventually. Um, oh, so when I say no nonsense approach, it's not. I don't give a crap attitude. I don't want people to misinterpret that no nonsense approach. What it is the understanding that I don't need to explain to a dog why they shouldn't jump on my guests when they come in the home, or why my puppy shouldn't be biting me when I'm the one who's feeding it. I don't need to explain it. So no nonsense is it's more about the energy. It's not the word. It's that no means no. Why? Because I said so. But let me teach you a better way to do this. So again, if my dog is the type of dog that jumps all over people when they come into the home, and I don't like that behavior, my guests don't like that behavior, it's my job to teach them a better way to get the affection that they're so need. So what is that? You have to sit and be calm. But they can't be calm if I'm not. What type of example am I going to set? If that makes sense. Um, and again, let me know, guys, if anything I say doesn't make sense and you need me to clarify, put it in the comments. Please put it in the comments. Because the more we can get this out there, the better it is. It's everything comes back to the same thing. 99.9% of the issues I deal with, overexcitement, aggression, leash reactivity, separation anxiety, counter surfing, whatever it may be, 99% of it comes down because when we try to correct this unwanted behavior, we're doing it as if they're little human beings that can understand that tone in our voice with the anger. Well, it doesn't work. It doesn't work on humans very well. One of the things I've learned over all these years is it's easier to get things accomplished if you stay calm around humans. If I freak out, I'm not going to get things accomplished. So, and again, this was taught to me by the dogs. Dogs get things from each other by being calm. It's not. dogs getting mad at each other, not looking at, oh, you're a white dog, I'm a black dog, I'm not going to like you. They don't think this way. That's a human. That we're stupid. Um, they do things for specific reasons, and the reasons always are for the greater good of the survival of their pack. So, in the beginning, I started talking about the different training methodologies. One of the methodologies I talked about was the alpha training mode. Unfortunately, I think that term has got poisoned over the years. Dogs are pack animals. We understand this. They need a strong, confident, calm pack leader. Doesn't mean you have to be the alpha dog by puffing up your chest. I'm a controller. That's a bunch of crap. It doesn't mean because my puppy is play biting me, I'm going to take my hand, use his mouth, and pin it down to the ground and make it submit to me because it's afraid of me. That's what I think happens. I think that alpha role that people talk about, and it's been on TV. I'm not going to mention trainers' names that use it, but that alpha role has become a fear-based form of training, in my opinion, from what I've seen. And I don't want my dogs, your dogs, any dog, to respond to their human with fear. Same way I don't want my kids to respond to me out of fear. Fear isn't the way to get it. Fear to me, if my dog is responding to me because my testosterone's going and I'm going, you're gonna listen to me, it's a band-aid on open heart surgery. I'd rather do things calm. Dogs that have bit me, I'm calm. And again, any of my customers that I've had private one-on-one sessions, put your comments in. You guys see it. Let the rest of the world know what I'm talking about. So the alpha-based training, which I understand the alpha-based training, about having that alpha mentality, but not pinning the dog to the ground, making the dog submit to me, blah, 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 blah. It's a bunch of crap, and that's the human ego getting in the way of doing what's right for our animals. So, yes, use an alpha mentality, use an alpha energy. Alpha energy is no anger, no frustration, no nothing. But it's assertive. It's not about forcing somebody or something to do something you want them to do. Again, I hope this all makes sense, guys. Let me know in the comments. I mean, I want to see some comments coming up here. I'm hoping it's not a problem with this system. Um, if it is, I'll find the comments later, I hope. Um, so again, the alpha theology of training is a very good one if used properly. So is positive reward if used properly at the right time. So is, in certain cases, veterinarian behaviorists. Their methods work in sometimes for a certain dog. So I think it works for all dogs now. But the methods work if used properly. Same way I would say tools work if used properly. If you use a tool wrong, it's not going to work. If I try to use a ball peen hammer as a screwdriver, it's not going to work. You may drive the screw in, but it's going to be a hell of a time trying to take that screw out with a ball peen hammer. So again, the tools aren't going to work. But the tools are secondary training methods. The most important training tool in the toolbox is your energy, how you're going to communicate to your dog about proper communication. I make the joke that I speak dog and I understand what they say, but I truly do because they tell you a lot without any words being spoken. Um, Michelle says that Athena is much more calm and content when we are assertive and she's now knows her place. Absolutely, Michelle. That's a great analogy. Because she understands where her role is in the pack, she understands that you guys are in charge and she is a pack member, not a pack leader. And you couldn't do that before because your energy and your mind thought process was way out of whack to her natural DNA answers. But we still make sure she's dotted on our play. She's happier when discipline needs a structure. I'm not sure what She's doted on. I think I doted on played with. You know, guys, it's a balance. Everything in the world is a balance. She's happier. I will put this up on the screen so you guys can see it. She's happier when discipline needed structure. Absolutely. But with that discipline has to come some sort of reward. That could be play. That could be treats. That could be, I'm just freaking happy. That's a reward to a dog. I'm happy my dog's happy. Um, I gotta do things differently on here. Sorry, guys. I'm still following with the system a little bit. But 90% of that is going to come from your energy. And I think Michelle and Rob are finding this out. The more they stay consistent and true with their energy, the more Athena responds in a much more positive manner. I can't stress it enough how important that is. And remember, it's not just the fact that I'm saying, no, you're not allowed to do X behavior. Turning those no's into yeses. That is the most important thing. So let's take it to something that is totally out of the world and disgusting in everybody's mind, including my own. The dog eats its own. We don't want them to eat it. So we're going to say no. What's the yes? Don't eat the poop. It's not a matter of just because the dog is jumping on somebody, we're going to say no and teach it not to jump. Or counter surfing, we're going to say no and teach it not to counter surf. It's teaching them how to turn those no's into yeses. So one of the things I had a customer inquiring about, and I saw it on Facebook. I've seen a lot of posts recently about my puppy because a lot of people during the pandemic got dogs, and we're not sure how to control them. My puppy eats wow. How do we stop this? That's dangerous. And yes, it could be very dangerous. When their teeth, they can swallow it, it could become a surgery. I mean, there's a whole bunch of crap that goes into that, and we all know that. So really, we don't want them eating rocks. Well, going through somebody's yard and picking up every freaking stone or pebble that's in the yard is not reasonable. Well, that's not going to work. Oh, if I catch him eating a rock, I'll redirect with food. Well, that's great if you have food with you. If you don't have food with you, it kind of sucks. So the best thing you can do, and I always say set dogs up for success, is you gather some rocks in a controlled environment. So if we're working out in somebody's yard and we have a patio, I'm going to grab some rocks. I'm going to put them on the patio. I'm going to have the dog on a leash. And when the dog starts focusing too much on these rocks because they want to eat the rock, I'm going to make a correction. I discipline words. Remember, I do believe in the KISS theory. Keep it simple, stupid. It's not leave it to the rock. It's no. No means no. Leave it as a temporary. Leave it. You can have it later. I don't use leave it if they're chewing rocks or eating something they shouldn't be eating or trying to eat my shoes. It's no or no. Um, so if the dog is chewing the rocks, I'm going to take a bunch of rocks and I'm going to put it on the patio with a leash on. And when, every time the dog goes to focus on those rocks, like I want to get one, pop it a leash with a no, a very firm no, no anger, no frustration. Remember, the pop of the leash is not designed for the dog. It's just uncomfortable to hear that sound, no or no. And when they don't focus on the rocks, praise. Much better way to do things. And I don't need to give treats to do it because I don't always carry treats with me. Um, and the same thing, I mean, this is kind of a disgusting conversation, but it could be the same thing with if they're eating the dog crap. Right? Gather some dog crap, put it in a controlled environment, and teach them that's unacceptable behavior. If they are eating poop, catch with you. That's could be a diet problem. Um, and a lot of dogs do it, and of course, once they eat the crap, they want to give it kisses. So again, if I get angry at that puppy eating the rocks, I'm just going to cause it to eat the rocks more. Like yelling at your kids, you know, you can't go out in that skirt; it's too short. It's going to make them want to go out in that skirt. So if you yell at dogs about not eating the rocks, the odds are they're going to probably you're out of sight. Also, the thing I'm seeing recently, guys, is we're giving our dogs freedom to people with backyards. 4 or 5 months old, they're letting dogs have free run in the backyard. Stop it. There's too much crap that gets the dog in trouble. Supervise them out there. I'm not saying necessarily have to have them on a leash 100% of the time out there. Be out there with them because they will pick up things that they shouldn't be. So I hope that definitely will help people. It's no different than if I had a toddler in my house. I'm not going to let them in my backyard without somebody being outside because they're going to get hurt. They're going to get in trouble. They're going to find things put in their mouth that they shouldn't be putting in their mouth. So the best thing to be is out there with them. So when you see them going to dig up your flower bed, you can be out there, no, and create that boundary that they need you to create. That's part of the structure. Is setting clear boundaries. What are they allowed to do? What are they not allowed to do? How far can they go? So if you bring the dog up front, like I'll bring Zoe up front with me, she knows she's not allowed past the period of the discussion. I don't want to hear nothing, but I taught her with a long leash, and I made sure she understood a very clear boundary is that curb, the uh, the limestone bricks or whatever is my curb in front of my house here. That is as far as she's allowed to go, and she's very very disciplined on that. But I keep reinforcing it time after time after time. It's not a one and done thing. I work, I may not have done that. I may have taught her that um, street etiquette, whatever you want to call it, the boundary when she was before she was 6 months old, but she's 7 years old now, and every so often I reinforce it. We go out front, there could be people in front of my house, and I test her to make sure she knows she's not allowed to go off the curb. So it's a constant thing. It's setting that clear, decisive rules today, tomorrow, and for the future. The more you do it, happier your dog will be. Like Michelle said, she's happier. Athena's happier with discipline. She needed that structure. That's about survival. That's nature. That's Mother Nature teaching us better than we know ourselves. Again, as humans, we need discipline. We need structure. We don't get it. There's anarchy. Dogs are the same way. Why are dog trainers so busy? Because people don't want to set do discipline to their dogs and don't want to set clear, decisive boundaries and structure for the dog. And then we get phone calls, which is great, keeps us in business, and we start teaching them things that they should know, but they don't, and that's okay. Not everybody. Don't. I suck at math. Don't. It's not something I'm going to use, even though it's something everybody thinks I should know. It's not something I'm good at. So that's why we're in business. But that's why myself, offers this free Q&A session is to hopefully stop people from having to have dog trainers come into their home. There's other ways to do it. I'd rather be in front of hundreds of people doing a seminar and getting everybody on the same page. Because, like I said, together, I believe that. Oh, I don't have it on here. I thought I did. Oh well. I do believe that together we can help one dog and one family at a time. And I'm hoping anybody who watches me on the social media platforms, the YouTubes, the Facebooks, the Twitters, um, passes this information on to their friends and family members who own dogs. Because if it helps them, I did my job and I'm happy. That's good. And that's the attitude we need to have because I believe in the old school mentality is it takes community to raise a child. Well, that's how dogs live. Now that Athena listened somewhat, we're able to play with her. Before we couldn't handle her excitement level. It was scary. I can definitely see that. Athena's a big girl. Um, and because when dogs play, guys, when dogs play with each other, watch them real close. As what they do to each other, you and I are both bloody, bruised up messes. So when we start to initiate the play with the dog, and remember, I would say the dog should not be initiating the play with you. You should be initiating the play with the dog. Um, that excitement level is going to become dangerous, and unfortunately, the bigger the dog, the more it's going to hurt us. So by setting clear, decisive rules, setting those boundaries, setting that discipline level, you can enjoy actually more activities with your dog. And that's the object. There is no reason why, if 100 people are watching me right now, 100 people can't take their dog anywhere they want to go and have success. That should be the ultimate goal. I use poor Jeff because that's where I'm very close to right now. And there's no reason why every one of my customers that I've worked with privately one-on-one at this point should not be able to take their dog to poor Jeff, walk around poor Jeff, and not worry about the dogs being leash reactive, not worried about the dog dragging them into the middle of the street. They should be able to walk on poor Jeff and have an enjoyable experience with their dog. As I have always said, walking a dog is rough. Walking with a dog is enjoyable. That gets back to the leading thing of my Master in the Walk, Back to Basic Style here on the YouTube channel. I highly, highly suggest watching and those videos again and again and again, especially episode 2 about threshold management. But it's always about the same thing, rewarding the calm, rewarding the calm. What is that? That's the energy we use to control the situation. If you can control your energy and you can stay calm, that's going to go a long, long way. Can't stress it enough. I don't know how to stress it any harder. So again, I'm going to go back to a different subject that I saw on Facebook tonight. Matter of fact, I saw it on 2 different Facebook posts, and it goes back to something I know we've discussed quite often here. But again, you guys can let me know if this is valuable information. It is about leash reactivity while walking. I'm going to tell you now, most of the cases when dogs are leash reactive, it's overexcitement. It's overexcitement. Dogs are born aggressive. Dogs don't naturally hate other dogs. They don't. I won't say they don't have that prey drive for bicycles and cars, maybe to react after them because of that fast motion. But again, we can stop all that, but we can't stop leash reactivity unless we start the walk off in a calm manner. If the dog's excited, from the moment we put the leash on the dog, you're going to have problems on the walk. If your dog is excited getting out through the front door, threshold management, you are going to have problems on that walk. It's all about taking the time to bring the dog's excitement level down. Then I'll tell you, with the leash reactivity, and I've said this before, anybody who I've worked with leash reactivity, um, I don't know if Donna's on tonight. I know she has something to do Wednesday nights. Or any of our family members are on here watching. We just worked with one of my customers, Stark. This weekend, we brought Zoe to the job because Stark chose video on a leash. More how if it was aggression, excitement. I didn't even see any reactivity out of him. I did not handle the leash in the beginning. I let the family members handle the leash. And the first thing I said is, when you see the other dog, don't tense up on your leash. Hold the leash like normal. Start watching the dog. Watch Stark. If you see a change in Stark's normal walk, we're walking, yay, we're going, we're uh-oh, there's a bug. Make your correction there, guys. Catch it before the explosion. I can't tell you how many times I watch people with their dogs are leash reactive trying to correct their dog after the dog has already exploded with its energy level. It's too freaking hard to control it. So look for the little thing. Look for that little bit, that change in the gait. The ears go up, the tail changes. Something changes before the dog just goes into berserko mode. And make your nope, stop the walk, sit, give them another job, make them sit. And then the other dog should pass. We don't move forward until when the dog is calm. Every time I hear and see leash reactivity or work on dogs with the leash reactivity, it's always the same thing. And what I find is we always wait for that explosion. And by the time the dog explodes, it's way, way too late to make any sort of correction. Um, So don't wait for the explosion. Look for the littlest signs. It's the same thing. People tell me all the time, my dog bit somebody. There was no one. There's always a freaking warning. If we hear the warning or see the warning, that's different. There's always a warning. But if you know your dog has a tendency to have this unwanted behavior at a certain time, walking the dog, leash activity, strangers coming in and getting right in the dog's face, whatever it may be, look for little signs. When you see the first little sign, I'm unsure, I'm uncomfortable, I'm scared, I'm nervous, teach them that that's not good, but let's turn those no's into yeses. If we don't turn those no's into yeses, it's harder and harder to correct the unwanted behavior. I'm telling you guys, I've seen it, I've lived it, I've done it. It's getting those early warnings. Same way, you can't walk a dog that's already excited before you get out of the house. Well, you got to start with the littlest thing, putting the leash on the dog. Don't walk to the front door with the leash, the dog pulling you to the front door on the leash. It's so excited. Don't just drop the leash and say, I'll meet you by the door, because you're letting the dog control the walk, and you're letting the excitement control your dog. It doesn't work that way. Everything is based on calm. Your energy, if you're nervous, your dog is going to be nervous. If you're tense, your dog's going to be tense. Um, I always say our dogs are our mirrors. So your energy is going to tell you how your dog is behaving. So if you're walking down the street and you pass a person or a dog, you notice your dog reacting. Take a look inside first. See what's going on with you. Are you tightening up your grip on the leash because you're ready for the war? Are you just your body changes? All of a sudden your shoulders become very stiff or hunched and like, okay, I'm ready, I'm ready. Your dog is going to do the same thing. How do I get success when I work with leash reactive dogs? Is I have that vision in my head and good morning, good evening, Shannon. How are you? Um, so I have that vision in my head when I work with a dog that I know is reactive on a leash, and I have either my dog Zoe or somebody else's dog walking. I have a vision in my head. This is what I'm going to accomplish. I'm going to have a dog that's not going to react, and I'm going to get a house past that midway point. So if we're walking and we're coming together. My vision is I'm going to get past without a reaction from the dog I'm working with. I don't care what that other dog is doing on the other side of the street. That's not the dog I'm working with. I do care. She's acting stupid. I got a problem. But it's my job to be that calm, assertive pack leader we spoke about earlier to guide my dog to what I expect them to do. But if they make a mistake, they have that unwanted behavior, I'm going to teach them a better way to do it. So my vision is to pass, and I'm working with Fido, and Fido is like, nope, I want to bark and jump and be, crazy towards that other dog. I'm going to be checked. Nope. I'm not going to get angry or frustrated at them for not doing it because, in my opinion, it's an unwanted behavior. What is an unwanted behavior? It's something that they don't know better. It's my job to teach. Kids have unwanted behaviors all the time. What do? We teach them a better way to do it. Inside voices. They're screaming and hollering like they would in the playground in the house. We don't like it. It's unwanted behavior, so we're going to teach them a better way to do it. Same thing with the dogs, guys. But if you're angry, if you're frustrated, you're not going to be able. If your dog is leash reactive and you're sitting, your dog's going to get worse and worse. And the worst part is, you may have the dog redirect on you. And what do I mean by that? If you're trying to control that dog out of anger and frustration with it, oh, stop acting like an idiot. They can turn around to try to get that frustration out of them and go after your shin or your ankles or your calf or whatever. And it's not a bite, it's not an aggressive thing. It's they're frustrated too. They got to get rid of that negative energy. And if your leg happens to be the closest thing to it, that's what's going to get it. I've seen it. It's happened to me. I'm not saying it hasn't. There are certain dogs that just by the time I get to them, it's 3 months, 6 months, a year of this really horrible behaviors, and 3 months, 6 months, or a year of being corrected in the wrong way. The leash reactivity, dog leash reactivity on a dog that is aggressive. I'm going to tell you now, 99% of it, in my opinion, is created by the human because when we try to control it, we're controlling it out of anger and frustration. Instead of that no nonsense approach, no means no. Why? Because I said so, but let me teach you a better way to react when you see another dog. By correcting with tension constantly, every time you see another dog, no, come here, whoa, whoa. Eventually, the dog's going to say, every time I see another dog, this sucks. I better not trust any other dog. And it creates a snowball effect that we don't realize. And that's my job is to tell you guys it's not going to work. Best thing you can do, check up the dog, get the dog to focus on you more in that situation. How do you do that? Nope. Sit. Try to get the focus on you. They're looking at you, you're more relevant than that dog across the street. I was doing it with Stark and Zoe. At one point, I was walking both of them this weekend on either side of me. Every time I would say make a correction to Stark, he would look at me for guidance, and that is a beautiful thing. I think Michelle told me that Athena does that with with them, looks for guidance, which is what you want them to do. Look at same way we want our kids to do it, guys. We want our kids to look at us for guidance. Look for me. I'll help you navigate this horrible, horrible world we live in. That's our job, and I do that with the dogs too. Zoe is constantly looking at me for guidance. Even if it's something as simple as jumping up on the bed, she's not. If she won't just make that decision, she'll look at me for guidance. Is it okay if she does that? And I give her an okay. If I don't give her an okay, she doesn't come up. And I'll tell you now, Zoe is one of the most loved dogs I know. She gets more love and affection than a lot of dogs I know. Why? Because she follows the rules and she's earned that. Make them earn your affection. Make them earn your love. And that's by behaving the way you want them to behave. If you're an energetic person, you want to go running with your dog, that's fine. Go running with the dog. Yes, that's excitement. But if you initiate it, it's cool. If you want to play with your dog, that's great. Play with your dog. I love playing with Zoe. But it's only I initiate it. She doesn't initiate it with me. It's about the leadership. But remember, any behavior that you do with your dog, you play with the dog, you run with the dog, you jog with the dog, skateboard, rollerblade, whatever it is that brings up your dog's excitement levels, when you end those times, your job is to bring them all the way back down to level 1 pound. Because if you leave them in a heightened state of excitement, they're going to get in trouble because they're not going to understand it. It's no different than when I talk about separation anxiety. Uh, there's a lot of reasons dogs have separation anxiety, but most of the dogs I've worked with that have separation anxiety, or what we deem as separation anxiety, is again, I say it's because we're New Yorkers, but it goes all over the country, all over the world. Why? We put our dogs, we're ready to leave for work, we're ready to leave for school, we're just going to our neighbor's house, we're going to family, whatever. And nobody can pick, very few people actually walk out of their houses calmly saying, you know what, I'll get there, I'll leave a little bit early so I don't have to rush, whatever. No, what do? We're running around. We gotta get ready for school. I gotta get my lunch together, I gotta get my shoes on, I gotta get to I gotta walk the car, I gotta do I gotta take the car, I gotta and supposed to watch us. They don't like this with us. And then we leave. And they're still bouncing. And then we want to know why our dog barks at when we're at home. Why? Chews up things, becomes destructive. If they're in a crate, tries to break out of the crate. Think about that energy from when you're trying to leave and they're like, what the freak is going on here? So, what I tell people all the time, get up earlier. If you're going to crate your dog, put the dog in your crate 15 minutes before you leave. Not that last minute rush, shove the dog into the crate and run out the door. That's not. No, put the dog in there 15 minutes before you leave. Take your time leaving, get your coffee ready, put your shoes on, sit down, relax for a few minutes, take a deep breath. And when you leave, just leave. You don't have to make a big deal out of it. Don't do that. I'll be home soon, baby. Mommy will miss you. Daddy will miss you. I'll be home. I'll be home. No, I don't do that because that's just excitement. No, just leave. Just leave. You'll see your dogs will be calmer. All about the energy, guys. It's all about the energy. Your energy is going to make or break your dog. I can't stress that enough. That's why I keep putting that little blurb on the bottom of the screen over here. Uh, your energy is going to make the difference. That could be for the walk, it could be for your everyday home life, the zoomies at between 5 and 8 that a lot of puppies do up to 2 years old. All of that can be controlled just by your energy. And I'm not talking about the energy in just corrections. I'm talking about your energy in general. Like I said, if you don't want your dog to have those signs of separation anxiety, check yourself first. See how you're leaving the house. See what you're doing. Take a hard look. One of the hardest things for us to do is look inside as humans because we don't want to admit that we're making mistakes. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm human. I make a lot of mistakes. But the object is to learn from the mistakes so we don't do it again. Same thing when we're teaching our dogs not to have that unwanted behavior. We want to teach them that that mistake shouldn't happen again. You shouldn't jump on counters and eat chicken. Make mistakes, learn from mistakes. Don't dwell on it. But I'm telling you, watch your dog's behavior. If your dog's overexcited in the house, look at the environment. Look at the environment. 99% of the times you're going to see there's some sort of excitement or something that's not about calm. And guys, anybody out there who has a different opinion, please feel free to put it in the comments. I'm open for discussions on anything I talk about. Just because I'm saying it doesn't mean it's the gospel. I'm willing to have a conversation with anybody on any subject, dog training. So I don't shy away from talking about tools like the prime collar, the e-collar, flip leashes, muzzles, whatever. As long as we can have a fair conversation, we can have a conversation. And you may not agree with everything I said, and that's okay. I'm just going to explain to you my point of view, and you can explain to me your point of view. That's what this forum is for. It's not just sitting here watching this big ugly dude. Um, it's more about us having an open, honest conversation so together we can help one family at a time. Michelle says Athena doesn't get zoomies anymore. We also don't have to walk around with treats on us as protection anymore. Beautiful. The treats weren't working, and I know this for a fact because Athena's a great dog. Michelle Robb, phenomenal with her. But when I went to their house, um, when I went to their house, Athena went right for my pocket looking for treats. Shannon says, even though she has Shay on here, which I still don't understand that one. I have a muzzle comment to discuss. Bring it on. Type it in here, girl. I'm all for it. Like I said, I'm going to talk about muzzles because we started that subject. So muzzles to me are positive tools. They're not negatives. No tool that we should use in any industry should be a negative tool. If used properly, tools are never negative. The thing I like about muzzles, personally, is when we do need to muzzle condition some dogs because they're biters. They bite other dogs, they bite humans, whatever. What I noticed is we put a muzzle on a dog, the people who own the dog, the people around the dog, naturally become calmer. They don't worry about the dog biting them or the other dog. So the energy changes. The dog starts getting the behavior, and you don't see a lot of that forward motion once the muzzle's on the dog. Why? Because the energy around them is calmer. It's the muzzle to me is a great tool for those situations. Here's where I differ from a lot of other trainers, and I'll tell you now, I'm doing this with my own dog. If I have a dog that is dog reactive, and I need to bring it around another dog, that other dog should be muzzled too. I don't think it's fair that one dog's muzzled and one dog's not. Reason being is, again, because dogs are energy-driven creatures. If I have Zoe with a dog that's dog aggressive, Zoe's not going to say, "Oh, that dog's on a muzzle. I'm safe." They don't think that way because if that dog's energy is, "Hey, I want to bite you in the throat," Zoe may go after that dog just because of the energy. To me, fair is fair. Yes, I trust Zoe, but fair is fair. Um, when I start doing my puppy training, once I can get into a facility, I will highly suggest every person that owns a puppy muzzle the dog. Shannon says, okay, so I use mesh cage muzzles. It doesn't hold the mouth shut. They can bark, pant, do their thing. Now, when I get a known biter or a suspected biter or a dog who has that look to him, I hate that look. I throw a muzzle on and I clean. Wow, I'm really bad with reading. And I completely negate my nervousness before, therefore chilling my energy. Absolutely. Sometimes I'm right and the dog will take a bite at me. Sometimes I'm not and nothing happens. I want to see how you feel about that. First of all, basket style muzzles are the best muzzles. The ones they can open their mouth, they can pant, they can breathe, they can drink water. If you give them treats, you can give them treats. So those nylon things that a lot of groomers and a lot of vets use, I can't stand them. Um, Again, as a groomer, Shannon, muscle should become your best friend because you do both are put into uncomfortable positions a lot of times, and they're going to protect themselves. They're going to bite. And like you said, if you put it on the known biter, the dog you suspect is a biter or whatever, you put the muzzle on, you're going to naturally be calmer because you don't have to worry about getting bit unless you're stupid enough to stick your fingers in there. Your energy changes. And what you would do is if the people who own the dogs that you're grooming bring their dogs in on that regular 4, 6, 8 week schedule, and you constantly do this, you can actually create where the grooming experience is good after a period of time where you won't need the muzzle. So again, that's how I always people know me. Grooming is training. Grooming your own personal dogs make it easier. Learn how to brush your dogs if you're going to get dogs. Learn how to, play with their paws and maybe not cut their nails because you got to worry about the equipment and stuff like that. But play with their paws, play with their nails, play with their tail. Um, the more you, as dog owners, we can do to help desensitize. I have dogs I muzzle now, groom without it. Oh, that you muzzle, now you can groom without it. Absolutely, because grooming became training. And you actually show the dog that, hey, we can brush you, we can cut your hair, we can do your nails, we can do this, whatever it is, and nothing bad happens to you. Why do you have, they don't have to bite? Remember, a lot of it's a weird experience. Think about the grooming process. We're picking up this dog and we're putting it on a table. But at home, they're not allowed on the table. So that's already kind of weird. Then we're putting this thing around their neck to hold them in place so they don't. We're brushing them and we're cutting them and we're doing. Think about it. I don't know why it showed my internet just went down, so I hope it's streaming fine. Um, I don't know. A certain man you and I both know from grooming shop used to make me feel like a jerk for wanting to use one. Yeah, yeah. Again, but that was yesterday, and you can't change yesterday. Learn from it. Learn from it. Learn from it. If you're more comfortable using the muzzle, use the muzzle. Don't worry about what anybody else has to say. I'm telling you guys, there are certain things I've done. Corrected a dog walking once in the middle of poor Jeff. Some dude actually pulled over in his truck and started yelling at me saying I was torturing the dog. You're entitled to your opinion, pal. I'm still going to do it because it worked. So I know what you're talking about. Um, but again, that is the beauty of understanding what we're doing, guys. Just do it. If the muzzle makes you feel more comfortable working with your own dog, muzzle condition the dog. Make the muzzle a good thing, not negative. We tend to make them negative because we're like, oh my God, the dog needs a muzzle, must be aggressive. Shut up. You know, Again, you make the difference. Your energy, you make the difference. I have said it, I'll say it again, I'll say it a million times. The best training tool in the toolbox, you, not the muzzle, not the e-collar, not the prong collar, not the slip lead, not the gentle leader, not the harness, not this, not that. You are the best training tool in the toolbox. Folks, I can't stress it enough. consistent you stay, keeping that energy in check, you will see a change in your dog. Those dogs that sat and groomed that needed the muzzle that don't need it now, it's because when they were on the muzzle, her energy changed. That made them feel more comfortable, made her feel more comfortable. It's a snowball effect. The homes I work in, when I walk out, the people tell me, "Oh my God, we started doing this in my our everyday lives with our work, with our family, and calm energy solves a lot. You want to stop all this nonsense in the world? Stay calm. You don't need to yell, scream, bitch, and moan alone. It doesn't. And that's our three daughters yelling and screaming, the damn thing. Calm energy, teaching is the right way to do it. Not afraid to layer discipline with structure. Because remember, discipline is not designed to hurt or scare the dog. It's designed to make it uncomfortable to make the same mistake twice. You're grounded. Back in the day, that was an uncomfortable punishment. Go to your room. That was an uncomfortable punishment back in the day. Nowadays, take away the kid's cell phone. Oh my God, that's an uncomfortable punishment. Make it uncomfortable to make the mistake, but don't just say no. Turn those no's into yeses. So, with that being said, we're almost at the magic hour, at the 50-minute mark. If there's no other questions, guys, we're going to wrap it up for the evening. Anybody on here? Again, I will be out live Saturday morning at 11 o'clock on Facebook for Coffee with Back to Basics Dog Training. I really, really appreciate everybody taking the time on a Wednesday night. If there's no other questions, we're going to wrap it up. And like always, stay healthy, stay safe. God bless. I'm going to ask for a little bit of a favor here. Your friend of mine, I was just notified tonight, has contacted COVID and was put on a respirator. So everyone, please put us in his prayer in your prayers. I really would appreciate it. This disease is horrible. People, please stay safe, stay healthy. Uh, Again, God bless you for being here with me. Thank you for allowing me into your homes and being here with me every Wednesday evening and Saturday mornings. And remember, together, guys, we can have one dog and one family. Have a great evening, guys, and we'll see you soon.